Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Elements of Fun. I am Joey,
And I'm Courtney.
and this is our review of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. That's currently on Disney Plus right now. We are going to be talking about the first of 4 episodes. I believe there's 8 episodes of the show. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, it's going to be a total of 8 episodes for this first season, even though a second season is not confirmed yet.
which seems to be the mo, or is that correct? I don't know, but for Disney Plus, we
Yeah.
get first seasons of shows, and we enjoy them, then we don't get second seasons of certain shows. So
Yeah.
um but hopefully halfway through, and we'll get to it, but hopefully we will get a second season, because in my opinion, so far so good. And
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot too.
yeah, and before we get to kind of like the particulars of the show, uh, one quick thing is, um, I know this has been a book series, very popular book series. It also spawned 2 movies, 3.
2 movies. No, two
Okay,
movies.
okay,
It
just
was. I
checking.
think it was supposed to be a trilogy, but the second one didn't do well in
Yeah,
theaters, so they cut the third one. So
okay. And the first movie, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, I believe, was also in the Lightning Thief, which we kind of are starting to touch in on this one. Was I thought it was a fun movie. The main characters, seem to be more high school age, and these ones seem to be a little bit more maybe junior high,
yeah,
which
definitely scaled down.
which I believe is more accurate to the books. So the main cast we have, we'll just kind of run through the top 3. We got Walker Scobell. He plays the lead title of Percy Jackson. Leah Jeffries is Annabeth Chase. And Arian Shimhadri is Grover Undergood, the satyr uh,
Yes.
uh, friends. Plus, we got a whole cast of magical creatures and everything. Series is directed by Anders Edstrom, Jet Wilkinson, among others. And also some of the writing credits include Daphne Olive, Rick Riordan, and
Reardon.
Learden,
Reardon.
sorry, who is also the producer and the author of the
Writer,
original
the
book.
author of the books. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool that we're getting pretty book accurate stories here,
Yeah.
and great so far. Like I said, we're 4 episodes in, and we got some really funny titles in some of these episodes. So I think I don't know. We should get right to it. Let's start with episode 1 so far.
Yeah,
And
so episode 1 is called
real quick,
Oh,
oh sorry, I forgot to mention
no,
this.
go ahead.
These reviews will be spoiler filled. If you're
Yeah.
not caught up, we won't go. I mean, yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, don't watch us yet. But come back.
I mean,
Come
it's
back
been
here.
3 weeks because they did drop the first 2 at the same time, so it's
Yeah,
been 3 weeks.
but all right, my lady, go ahead and
Okay, so our episode 1 is called "I Accidentally Vaporized My Pre-Algebra Teacher," which I think is hilarious. But this is the opening episode. It shows Percy dealing with coming to grips with having powers, and he doesn't understand why. It comes off as ADHD, dyslexia. He can't read, he gets to a point where he can't read stuff and he can't keep focus. And that's because he's a half-blood or a demigod, and which means he can see on the veil of both the mystical world and the real world. And so his mind is playing tricks on him, and he doesn't know why because nobody's actually really told him yet. And he's only about 12 years old, but this has been happening all of his life.
which has made him kind of an outcast his entire life because
Yeah.
people think he's nuts for seeing visions.
Yeah. And this one, it's getting more intense. And so he's basically being bullied throughout this whole first episode. And what he does is he wants to get he's tired of being bullied. And he's on a field trip to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and where they have all the Greek statues of all of the gods and stuff. So they're learning about this stuff as like a history lesson. And this girl comes up and she's being a bully to him. And so he wants to take revenge, and he actually uses his powers without knowing it and pushes her into this water fountain. And which brings upon this teacher called Miss Dodds, who's played by Megan Mullally, and she turns into a Fury who works for Hades. And so that's his first run in with anything mystical creature wise that's coming after him. And so Grover is there as one of his friends in the school, and he gets him expelled because he says that he saw Percy push this girl into the fountain and corroborates her story. And when he's saying, no, I didn't push her, I didn't touch her. And he did it to keep him safe from all the mystical creatures that are coming after him. But he gets expelled, and then he goes, and he was at a boarding school, right? He's at a boarding school. Well, he wasn't living with his mom at the time. And so he gets sent home to his mom and his stepdad, who smells bad and just plays, I guess, Scrabble or whatever he plays on the internet, and just kind of bets money and stuff like that. He's just,
and that's how he makes his income.
Deadbeat. Yeah. He's just like a deadbeat dad. And so then his mom takes him to this cabin and tells him that he's actually the son of Poseidon, or Perseus, son of Perseus.
Yeah,
I think she says
he was named after Perseus.
He was named after Perseus, but he's like actually like the son of a god, one of the gods, and that they need to go to this like half camp, like half blood camp is what it's called, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden.
So that he can basically start his training to defend himself against all these monsters that are coming after him. Yeah,
because right now we don't know who the god. I was going to say the godfather.
No.
The father god. Oh,
the god that is his father. We don't know.
Yeah. One thing we forgot to mention too, though, but at the museum, one of the professors or teachers who's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I forget the teacher's name, but
Mr.
he was
Bruner.
Yeah, and he was played by Pierce Brosnan in the movie. He's kind of looking after and in support of Percy, but gives him a pen to write, and the pen magically turns into a sword because he stabbed the Fury.
Yes, he stabbed the Fury with the pen. Yeah, that turned into a sword. Yes, so he does have that on his side.
Yeah, which comes back to now we get to the camp because he thought he lost the pen.
But actually, that's kind of at the end of. Well, and then a Minotaur comes after them and kind of kills, or what we think kills his mom. And he gets all upset, and then so he takes the sword again and he stabs the Minotaur. Like he fights the Minotaur and he stabs him and he turns him to dust. So then he's laying at the foot of this camp, and then that's the end of the episode 1.
Yeah, so the Minotaur.
Now, what did you think? Well, let's go back to the mom.
Sure.
I don't like the actress that plays the mom.
Okay, I'm not too familiar with her.
I've never seen her before. I just think that for how young Percy is, she seems like a very young mom.
Yeah.
Like she seems like the actress herself seems too young to be playing the mom.
And that's Virginia Cole plays Sally Jackson.
Which, just the way that she comes off. I mean, did you feel like that when you were watching it?
I didn't. I just
felt
knew...
like she wasn't, like, it didn't seem like she was too much older than the actor playing Percy.
She definitely looked like a young mom, probably in her mid to late 20s, which is a thing. So
it is a thing. I just her voice and like her face, it just, I don't know. It was like, it looks like maybe like she could have been playing one of these characters like in the movie. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. I took it. I don't know. There's a lot of awkwardness in the mom, but I get that how do you tell your kid that he's a son of a Greek god? and hiding the
Yeah.
stuff. So I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I wasn't too bothered by her, and I'm sure we're
Mm.
going to get a lot more of her. So maybe she could redeem herself. To,
I just the way that she was playing it just kind of bothered me. I was like, you
yeah,
don't seem that much older than him. I'm sorry, her. No, him. Than Percy, and like he's supposed to be 12, and you're supposed to be a mom, which I get it
yeah.
can be late 20s, but like she looked more like she was 16 to me.
Especially
I don't
compared
know.
to the stepdad or boyfriend.
Yeah,
He
and it was very much
after
like,
thinking of
oh,
it now, he's quite a bit older,
yeah.
or
Which I
from
get
what
it.
it seems.
She was just using him. I get it, but like she doesn't
Yeah,
really care about him. But
and that's fair. And yeah, I don't know. I never really thought of it. I've only seen each episode once right now, but I don't know. Maybe once you now that you said that, it might kind of stick out a little bit more. But we'll see. But overall, I haven't been too uh haven't had an issue with really any of the cast right now.
the rest
I
of
know
the cast,
you had a
you know,
small issue with Percy,
I
which is
mean,
fair.
Percy, his voice is kind of like, I get it. You wanted an actual 12-year-old to play Percy, but his voice is a little high and squeaky. So,
Yeah.
like, if that's going to bother you, like, just, you know, be aware that his voice is high, squeaky, and he is yet to go through puberty.
And like we've said before recording before, it's like, and I forget the name of the actress from the movie, but you know, the guy that played Percy could be, you know, a young male model. Annabelle, a model at Alexandria Daddario. If I said her name wrong, I apologize. But they got, you know,
Alexander,
really good looking people in their 20s playing high schoolers. So now
yeah.
that you got actual kids playing kids, yeah, he was a little squeaky. Um, but
But I get it. Mhm.
yeah, but I do so far. I mean, I do like the cast. Um, Weird seeing Megan Mullally. Not weird, but you know, so used to her and
I
Will and
know.
Grace and kind of
I
over the
know
top, and
it's
she's
weird her not having her high squeaky Karen voice. It's really
yeah.
funny.
So, but so I didn't watch this as you said that it was a 2 episode premiere. So, um, I guess before we take our first initial thoughts of the beginning, since it was double episodes, we'll just jump right into the second episode if you have that
Okay.
title as well. So.
Yeah. So the second episode is called this is funny. I become Supreme Lord of the Bathroom.
A title
So
we all want.
I guess. I mean, it's called the throne for a reason, right?
Yeah, right.
But what this is so after Percy, it picks up right where we left off. Percy has killed the Minotaur, and he ends up waking up in front of this camp that's for half-bloods, and um, he says, well, he realizes that the gods are real, and that he meets Chiron, which is the half centaur, half man, who was Mr. Bruni in the wheelchair. So the centaur's there, and the first god that he meets is Mr. D, which is Mr. Dionysus, the god of food and wine and culture, which he's always been like the funny god, portrayed as the funny god because he's always like drunk and stuff. So,
Which
and this
it's
one,
played by Jason Matuskis, who's a known comedian. He's been in
yeah,
sitcoms. He's done stand up. So
yeah.
he's a real funny guy. I mean, I
Only
forgot.
Zeus has made sure that he's kind of cursed him where he can't have any alcohol.
Yeah,
And he has to run this camp full of kids. That's his torture.
which is a funny scene because we find out even before this that Percy's the son of a god, but he doesn't know who yet. So he says, you know, I'm here to look for my father. He's like, I'm your father.
Go get me
Go
some
over yeah, go
wine.
give me some booze, basically. Then it's just a ruse to get booze.
Yeah. And Chiron says, no, he's not supposed to have it. He's not your dad. I know that for a fact. He's not your dad. Um, So, but then Percy's kind of like mad because he just watched his mom die and he doesn't know who his dad is. He's never been there for him. So, and now he's in this place that he doesn't know anybody except for Grover. And he finds out Grover's actually been lying to him because he thought he was like a little 12-year-old boy himself, and he's a 24-year-old satyr. So he's just kind of feeling all alone right now.
Yeah. Who's his protector, which we find out.
Yeah.
Well, which we know from the movies, but I'm trying to
From the movie, yeah.
So we're going to try to stick strictly to what we're getting in the show, even though we have the movie as a reference. But
yeah.
So he's his protector.
But the mom had already told him that he was supposed to protect him, and so and so since he doesn't know who his dad is, he has to go and stay in the Hermes camp. So I guess there's like different camp houses for all the different gods. So once a god claims you, then you can go and stay in that camp house. But if you're not claimed yet, then you stay in Hermes one with his
Hermes.
Yeah. With his like half siblings and the lost children, because he's the god of the lost children apparently. So you go and you stay in there. And so this is where he meets Luke, who's kind of the strongest fighter in the camp. And he kind of takes him under his wing and he says, we're going to find out what you're good at, because, you know, the only way to get the gods to notice you is to get glory or fight for it. So we're going to find out what you're good at. So
yeah. And Luke's a cool character because he's like, Percy thinks he's the bully. Obviously he's bigger, he's muscular. He's like, and Percy's a new kid, so he's kind of flexes like, all right, are we gonna do this or what? He's waiting to get picked on, and Luke's like, no man, I'm here to be your friend, and validate. So Luke's like the anti-bully, and he's a good mentor, and somebody I'm sure we're going to see more throughout the series.
I hope so, because they just kind of left him behind, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But what happens is also we come across Ares' children, who are the bullies, and they're girls. In this one, the bullies are all girls. The one in the school was a girl, and this one, they're girls too. They're children of Ares, who kind of are like, you didn't really fight the Minotaur, you're lying. So they choose it upon themselves to say that he's lying and they're going to make him tell the truth. But he actually did kill the Minotaur. And so then a lot of this episode has to do with capture the flag. I know it was a really big thing in the movie version and in the book. So this episode has to do with capture the flag. We meet Annabeth, who is the daughter of Athena, and she is the captain of the capture the flag team. And she is also one of the strongest warriors in the camp as well. She's friends with Luke.
And she was the one looking over Percy when he was still groggy and in and out of consciousness after he showed up. So could we just see her silhouette?
She was really freaky in that beginning one. Like I was like, what are you doing? But so we do capture the flag, but we don't really see the whole thing because we're mostly being with Percy and Annabeth, because she takes him with her, and then the others have their own duties. And he basically just stands there and was like, I don't know what you want me to do. I am not a fighter. And then she kind of leaves him alone because she has this magical invisible hat. And
well,
then that's when Ares' children come and, tackle him and try and fight him.
I was going to say, speaking of duties, the army of Ares kind of go to jump him in a bathroom.
I think that's at the end after he gets captured the flag, isn't it? Or is it before?
No, because this was before, because this is when he first uses his water power on them.
Right.
And that's where Annabelle's like, okay, I can use you.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Because he kind of blows him out of the bathroom with the water.
That's right,
go to attack
and he's totally dry, and they're all sopping wet. So that's why with the whole, like, I'm king of the bathroom.
And so that's when Annabelle pretty much recruits him. Annabeth, sorry. I got dolls in my head.
Super scary dolls.
But they do jump him again and they capture the flag.
Yes, and he basically accidentally breaks her spear that she got from Ares,
Yeah.
and she doesn't like that. So then she gets mad again, but then by the time she's trying to retaliate on that, the rest of the team has captured the flag because she wanted revenge more than to capture the flag. So they lose, and then after that, Annabeth he gets Percy gets mad with Annabeth saying, "Why didn't you help me when they jumped me? Like you just were like you were standing there the whole time because she took off her hat and was like, cool, like you I thought my thoughts about you were right." And he gets mad and was like, and then she ends up pushing him in the water, and he had gotten hurt with the tussle, and so the water heals him, and so that means like Poseidon had claimed him.
Yeah, because I had the above
The
him,
Triton.
the
Yeah.
Triton above him
Yeah.
in front of everybody too. So it's like
Yeah. So he
everybody
like
has
literally
straight
claimed
proof.
him.
Yeah, in front of, and that that's when we find out. Yeah, he's the son of Poseidon. Who there's nobody in Poseidon's house, so
No, because
he gets
he's
his
a
own crib.
forbidden child now. Because what happened was is there's three main gods: Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, and they had all three of them had made a pact that they were not going to create any more half blood children because they just are too powerful. And so Zeus broke that pact, and he had a daughter named Thalia, who she comes up quite a bit in the third episode. But so then the other two got mad, and I guess Poseidon had Percy then, and then Hades stole this bolt, the Master Bolt. I think they're calling it the Master
Zeus's
Bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is Zeus's bolt. And so that's basically at the end of this one he gets the quest, or it is at the beginning of the third?
It gets mentioned, I believe, that he's got to go after it, being that
Okay.
he is the son of Poseidon. He can.
Yeah, because Zeus has blamed Poseidon for stealing this thunderbolt. So Poseidon is like, well, now my son has to go get it, which I don't know how that makes any sense, but it does.
And I mentioned, I think we're going to deviate from the movies, but I can't help it. I think one thing we brought up, and this might be a spoiler, but we find out that Poseidon really did love Percy's mom, though. It wasn't just like, hey, I'm going to get this, human, I'm going to make a baby,
Yeah. No, he really fell in love. But Zeus is, he just sleeps with everybody. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the first two episodes, and Percy decides he's going to go on this quest. At first, he didn't want to go on the quest at all, but then Grover says that, well, your mom didn't die after all. Hades kind of kidnapped her, kind of.
Yeah, because Grover, obviously feels bad for, pretty much lying to Percy, and something else that we'll find out in the third episode. But he kind of takes upon himself to go to the, like, I don't know what are they called, like, not forest creatures, but kind of like magical creatures.
It was like the High Council of the Satyrs or something like that.
Yeah, but he went against the like the teachers and kind of on his own, because they don't want to tell Percy that his mom might still be alive. But
which they got what they wanted anyways.
Exactly.
He went on the quest.
But Grover doesn't want to lie to him anymore, so he kind of went on his own, which kind of pissed off the what's the name again? I'm sorry.
Dionysus and Chiron.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so they were really mad.
Pissed him off. Mostly pissed Chiron off, really.
Yeah, but he was just, he didn't want to, like I said, he didn't want to lie to Percy no more. So he finds out then that the mom's still alive, or possibly still alive, or at least with Hades. And then we, that's the end of that episode. And we'll get to the next two real quick. But one thing I do like about the way they do the credits is the way they have like the preview for the next episode as a post credit.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing really like next on the next Percy Jackson.
Yeah, no.
Like, it's just kind of reminds me of like Back to the Future 2, when it was over, and they showed you just glimpses of what's coming in Back to the Future 3.
Yeah.
Nothing
No, I
really.
did like that because
Yeah.
especially
So,
with like the monsters that are coming, they gave us little teasers of them, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
what's this?
So exactly. So before we get to episodes 3 and 4, since you saw these, as the
Back to back.
release,
Yeah.
yeah, what did you think on the overall start of the show?
I think that it was smart of Disney to release them uh, the first two all at once because, like, just the first episode by itself, it dealt with a lot of exposition. You had mostly Percy. It showed Percy as a little kid at first, and then
Yeah.
went into the middle school area, and it dealt with a lot of the museum and the metropolitan art and that field trip. So, and him learning that he was special. So it didn't really get into the nitty gritty until like the very end of that one. And then all of a sudden we are spearheaded into the camp and what this all means and into capture the flag and kind of fighting for your life kind of thing. Not that like capture the flag is going to be like he was going to die from it, because I don't think Chiron would have let that happen. But still, it was to prepare them to fight out there in the real world where the monsters were going to come after them. So
Yeah, because we've seen in the training montages that he is a quick learner,
yeah.
and on especially with the fighting, and even before he was trained, it just like naturally came out of him when it needed to. So
Yeah, and he didn't even know he could do that. Like a lot of the times they showed him like he was dumbfounded and kind of like shocked that he could do that,
yeah, especially when he takes on Ares' army,
Yeah.
where he held his own, and
I mean, Ares is the god of war, so
yeah. So, but I mean, did you thought it was a solid start
I
to the
thought
show?
it's a solid show. They did a great job. Like I said, I only seen the movie once, and I mean, I didn't mind the movie, but I know a lot of people had issues with it. So
Yeah.
I feel like with Rick Riordan being at the helm and writing most of it himself, he got a chance to really dive deep into what he wanted his characters to be and how he wanted the show to what he wanted the show to reflect. So I feel like he's giving it a real redemption story, and I'd like to see where it go,
Yeah.
progressing.
So me with the first two episodes, we'll call the first two, episode 1 still, since it's
Exactly. It's literally a long movie. Like I'm not quite sure how long it is. I think the first part is like 39 minutes or something. Like they're not that long.
Yeah, they're about 30,
it was about
40
an
minutes.
hour or so.
Yeah. So as a 40-plus-year-old watching a movie about junior hires and everything, I thought it was a very, very solid start. I mean, but for some of our new viewers, one thing about me is I could be taken out of a movie or TV show very quick, depending on the child actors.
Yeah.
And I've movies they've made. I'll compare like the kids from Mary Poppins Returns. I thought all three of the kids were great, and I wasn't taken out of the movie at all. The young brother from A Wrinkle in Time completely took me out of that movie.
I hated the kids in Wrinkle all the time. Yeah. I hated the whole movie, really.
Yeah. So certain movies could, it's based, especially with a young cast. Everybody in this movie or this show, I think is solid. Even the mom. But
I just had a tiny little issue with her age. She doesn't look old enough to be a mom.
But a show that revolves around 3 tweens and a teen, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're doing a great job. They're very solid. The storytelling, I think, is really good. It's very well paced. So you could tell that like stuff that they might have rushed in the movie, they could take a little bit more time in the show. So I thought it was a very solid start. One thing I always kind of go to is on IMDb, they kind of rate stuff up to 10 stars. So the first episode got a 7.5, which is a solid score. And episode 2 got a 7.8.
Wow.
Yeah, so I know
those are high.
Yeah, so those are very high. I mean, just under 8. I think 6 and 7s are the levels of solidness to very, very good. So, and
Yeah.
I agree with those ratings. I think it's a very good start, and people seem to be liking it so far. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and what we will get. Let's get to episodes 3 and 4.
Yeah, the nitty gritty of it. So now we're going to get into episode 3, which is called We Visit the Garden Gnome Emporium.
And this is where the show
And it
starts
has,
to take off.
yeah, it has nothing to do with garden gnomes.
There's a few gnomes in the background.
Is there? Is there really?
Eh,
Yeah. What it actually refers to is the monster that's coming after them. But
so,
what?
oh no, go ahead.
No, okay. So in this episode, Percy is going to set off on his quest to basically find Zeus's thunderbolt. But we open the episode as he's going to the main house of the camp, and he has to go to the Oracle of Delphi. The Oracle of Delphi, which tells him about this quest, about the Thunderbolt, and that he does give him a prophecy of, be careful of who you choose to take with you, because who you call friends will betray you, and what else? You will not be able to save what's most important in the end, or whatever.
Yeah. The beginning of the introduction of the Oracle is actually kind of creepy.
Yeah, it was in the attic.
Yeah, it was very like the that witch scene in Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, she reaches out and just
Yeah, before she kind of got possessed by the spirit, and
mm-hmm.
it was funny
Then
that
it
the
was a
Oracle
guy,
spoke. Yeah, it was the stepdad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Like it came out like a ghost, and it was a stepdad. I'm like, that's awkward.
Awkward, yeah. Stepdad sending you on the like he was supposed to be the Oracle the whole time.
Which is weird because we assume he's going to bring Luke, the strong warrior, and
mm-hmm.
Annabeth, but once he didn't want to put Luke in that position because
Yeah, because he saw him as a friend and he didn't want him to betray him. So
yeah,
he thought he would bring Annabeth because he didn't see her and him ever being friends. And he brought Grover because he thought that whatever happens, Grover would have his back because he was supposed to be the protector. And so he picks those two, even though, Grover was doing punishment of picking up centaur duty for his treason, I guess. I don't know if you call it treason, but because he told Percy that his mom was still alive.
Yeah.
And so, but on the way, they're like in this. So they give him money. They give him real money and they give him mythic money. And they use the real money to buy bus tickets to go to where they need to go.
L.A.
Okay. Yeah.
Not
they gotta
a plane.
Go to Los Angeles.
He's like, we got all this money, and how come we're taking a bus? He's like, well, Zeus is looking for you.
Yeah. Zeus can throw that plane out of the sky. We don't want that to happen.
We don't want you in the clouds.
Yeah.
Which is actually pretty smart. Have you think
it is. But then they were saying that he was next to the bathroom, and I guess it's because you can't smell the demigod because of all of that. And there was another thing where Screen Crash actually does have a breakdown video on these 2 episodes, and they were saying that the reason why the mom stayed with the stepdad for so long is because he smelled really bad, and that the monsters wouldn't be able to smell Percy because of all of the smell.
Yeah, the demigods, especially a what's he called again?
Half-blood.
Well, half-blood, but being that he's a forbidden.
A forbidden child.
Yeah, so he has an even stronger aroma to the monsters that are chasing him. But
and they're always chasing him.
Yeah, and I just want a big shout out to Screen Crush. You guys listen to us or watch us. We're big fans of them, so it's always shout out to Ryan and crew.
Yeah. You help a lot. But so then On their journey, Annabeth tells them the story of how Thalia actually died and how Grover was actually their protector too. Annabeth, Luke, and Thalia. And the only ones who made it back to the camp were Luke and Annabeth. And Thalia actually perished. And while they're on this bus, the Furies are on the bus too.
She became a tree, right?
I think so. I think that's what happened.
Was it Hades that turned her
But
to
they
a
also
tree?
said that she died. So I
Okay.
don't know.
She might have died at that spot, possibly. Maybe the tree grew. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I watched it
I'm not
late.
exactly sure. I'd have to actually read the book. But like I think I've read it both ways on these synopsises, but like they said that she died.
Yeah.
So she's non-existent anymore. And but the Furies are on this bus. They keep trying to make deals with like Annabeth. They haven't made a deal with Grover yet, but they definitely made a deal with Annabeth, saying that if they just hand over Percy, then it would look good in her mom's eyes, and that she could be claimed. She will be able to be with her mom basically, and make her mom proud.
Yeah.
And her mom is Athena. But she doesn't take her up on this offer. She stays with Percy. But they were chased off this bus by the Furies, even though they did, I think, eventually kill one of them. They kill one of the Furies.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think we're down 2 Furies. There are 3 Furies. We're down 2. So
and all Furies are Megan Mullally.
yeah. And is that right? She plays all 3 of them?
I believe so, because
they have different names, so I don't know.
Yes, because the human form
is Dodds, yeah.
Yeah, and she was on the bus as well after.
That's right.
After Annabeth, because she went to get some very nutritional snacks at the gas station, which was packages of candy.
Candy, yeah. But so then after getting off the bus, they find their way. Well, Grover smells something cooking because they're on a cedar path. For some reason, they find a cedar path, and he smells like something yummy cooking. And they come to this like roadside like restaurant kind of thing.
And that's where the gnomes were.
Restaurant house / house. Yeah. And yes, there are stone statues everywhere. There's a cyclops. There's a bat, like a bat man, like a man bat. Ooh, hello. And all kinds of different creatures. They even see a satyr that was, I guess, uncle to Grover.
Yeah.
And he was a stone statue. And out comes Auntie M. Her name is Auntie M. Which, what does that stand for? It's Medusa.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, go ahead.
Oh, no, like, because you think Auntie M, but
yeah.
It was Auntie M, letter M.
Yeah. But it says like Auntie M's restaurant or Auntie M's pies or something like that.
Yeah.
On the restaurant, but no, it's Auntie Medusa.
And you commented on this or told me about this before I caught up to the show, but
yeah,
like you were so down to how they portrayed Medusa.
Oh, I love it.
And you were not wrong. The way they had this Medusa was so cool. She looked like she had like one of the hats with the veils.
Mm-hmm.
And so all you see is
just hit her eyes. Like you couldn't see him at all. It was like really cool.
Yeah, like real 1940s.
Yeah, 1940s.
And very seductive, like
seductive. Yeah.
Yeah, seductive. I know use a good word sometimes. Yeah, but invites the kids in for lunch.
For lunch.
And
she was like, "You can stand out here with the Fury, or you could come in and eat."
Yeah, because the Fury stops in her tracks because she's scared.
She's like, "No, no."
And so Percy's like, "Well, if she's scared of her,
might as well." So they do go in, and she's talking all nice to him, but like she's like, well, my name is Medusa. Like, she introduced herself, and like, your father was not very nice to me. Like, she kind of spins the story as like she's the victim and not a monster as everyone perceives her to be.
Mhm.
Because the main story with Percy is that he fought the monster Medusa and hid the shield, and she looked into it and turned herself to stone, and would turn men to stone.
Yeah.
That
Watch
was,
Clash of the Titans, folks.
yeah. So it's very awesome, like, myth.
Yeah. And we also get the backstory a little bit more of Athena, like their relationship, her and how Athena was kind of, you know, screwed over by her earthly uh what do they call him? Like that he gave her a gift which was Annabeth, but
Oh yeah, the guy that she had Annabeth with kind of got screwed over, and like, she was always called a gift by her mother, but
yeah.
the dad didn't really treat her as a gift, Annabeth, and then he remarried, and the stepmother did not see her as a gift either, and so she ran away when she was like 7.
Yeah.
So
So, and I want to give a shout out to uh the actress who played Medusa because I thought she was
yeah,
really cool. Jessica Parker Kennedy.
yes.
Um,
And if you ever watched The Flash on the CW, she plays the daughter on The Flash.
that's right. Okay, she was in Black Sails, the
Oh,
pirate show.
oh, okay.
So she was the one that kind of ran the brothel.
Oh,
It was, but very good actress though. So
she does a really good job.
and the way that her snakes were like even hidden under her hair like a hairdo.
Yeah, you can't even tell. Like, she has this hat on, and you can't tell. Like, they did a really good job of hiding that she was Medusa. Until like she was ready to fully um reveal it, because then she comes out with these like contacts, and then like her snakes, but they look like rock snakes. Like
Yeah,
they did not look like. And then, like, on Screen Crash, they started showing like clips of Medusa from the movie, and I guess Uma Thurman was
yeah,
Medusa in the movie, and I did not like her portrayal at all.
no,
Seeing her and her, they were just out there, just all the snakes were just out there, and they very much look like CGI.
yeah. And I'll say growing up with the original Clash of the Titans and the remake and Percy Jackson, the movie, and even the Amazon commercial, which but
Yeah.
I think this might be one of my favorite portrayals of Medusa,
Yeah,
hands
because
down.
she doesn't reveal her snakes until she's ready to like pounce.
Yeah,
Until she was like, actually, okay, fine. You're not gonna play by my rules. Well, then I'm gonna, send you back to your parents as stone, as stone. And so
yeah,
she then reveals her snakes in her hair
yeah.
to.
And you mentioned the CGI. For this show, the CGI I think has been really good.
Oh, it's been flawless. Like, I
Yeah,
haven't had any problems with it.
yeah. Because even with
Yeah.
some of the Marvel shows and a few of the Star Wars shows, people complain about CGI, which I
Mhm.
don't. But everything's been top notch
Yeah,
on this one so
definitely.
far. So, but yeah, that's when they go back down to the basement and find even more statues.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
but the way Percy beheads her is really cool.
Yeah. So he works with Annabeth because she has this Yankees cap that actually gives her the power of invisibility, which she used and capture the flag when she was just standing there watching him and not helping. She was actually invisible. So she has this Yankees cap. And so what they do is they put the Yankees cap on Medusa, and then Percy takes out his pin again and it becomes a sword. And then he chops off her head that way. But Grover had to like distract her by like coming in like on a zip line behind her.
Yeah,
And then while she wasn't looking at Annabeth, she flipped over the hat, and then she became invisible. And then Percy cut off her head. And so then he had to go and take the head. And then he got the idea, well, let's send her head back to the gods because, hey, her and your mom didn't get along, so it might be seen as, an offering instead of like, oh, look at what we did, kind of thing.
And it's kind of a smart ass of an offering, the way Percy was
Yeah.
like, yeah, we'll send her the head.
Yeah.
But this is actually, I think, the scene where we saw Grover's uncle.
Yeah,
And,
Ferdinand.
yeah, and one of the big things about this scene, I mean, you feel bad because it's his uncle, because he mentioned them earlier, singing on the trail and stuff. But his statue was the only one not showing fear.
Right.
And I forgot, what the words were, but it, just kind of showed that his uncle was brave and kind of maybe gave himself up to maybe help who he was with.
Yeah.
In a way or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was
he made the ultimate sacrifice.
yeah,
Like
so he took it as a heroic gesture
Yeah.
rather than, his last feeling was fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, which everybody else in the
yeah, they were scared.
Yeah, so and one thing I forgot to mention, but we mentioned that he was given the pin, which turns into a sword. He thought he lost it when he beat the satyr or the minotaur.
The minotaur, yeah.
And then teacher's name again?
Oh, Chiron.
Chiron. He's like, nope. As long as you need the sword, it'll always show up when you need it.
Yeah.
As long as unless you give it up willingly.
Yeah, you have to give it up willingly.
Yeah, so that's why he can always pull it out of his pocket.
Yeah, and the way she turned on them was like she was offering Percy like to hand over Annabeth and Grover so that he could go and save his mom, and he refused. He stayed with his friends. So then she got mad about that. So that's
yeah. Oh, one thing we forgot to mention is before they left, Luke gave him a gift.
Oh, I forgot all about the gift. What did he give him? He gave him the shoes of Hermes.
Yes. So they look like Chuck Taylors with wings that come out.
Oh, yeah. That's what Grover was wearing when he flew behind and distracted Medusa.
Did his Mortal Kombat air kick thing. So, yeah, they mailed the head out.
Yeah, this episode ends on Hermes taking the box with the head in it up to the 600th floor of the Empire State Building, because I guess that's where Mount Olympus is.
Yeah. So. And my babe, my lady, who is her? Who do we find out Hermes is at the end of this episode?
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Which is hilarious. I mean,
I love it.
Yeah.
I need more of him. He was so funny. He was singing. All he did was sing a song. Like he just hummed a song when you find yourself in the middle of the moon in New York City. That song, but
so that's how that episode ends.
Yeah, but I don't know how. I know that they boxed up the head in Hermes postage and stuff, but I guess she had it lying around and had a way to call him. I don't know, because I don't know how you call Hermes unless.
Yeah, because they had the postage at the house.
Yeah, so I don't. That kind of eluded me. I don't know how we got from them boxing it up to Hermes actually having the package in hand and.
Yeah, because they figure, well, we'll box it up, and since we're going to box it up because Percy wanted to give Annabeth her hat back, her mom's hat, which is a magical Yankees hat, so that's what they put in the box. So, but yeah, that's how that episode ends. And going back to IMDb, this episode got a 7.7. So solid first 3 episodes. So far. And just letting people, if you don't know, IMDb is actually, the ratings are completely viewer voted. So these aren't like Rotten Tomatoes where they got people working for IMDb rating these. These are all people watching these shows and going to the website or app and giving their own ratings. So the viewer ratings is very high. Like I said, high 7s. That's really solid.
Yeah.
And so then. Now we get to episode 4.
Which is called I Plunge to My Death.
Where's that going?
So we find ourselves now in St. Louis for a refuge because we were on a train. So we lost our bus. We need to get on a train. because we still got to get to LA. And so we got on the train. They're like in this car, like I would say the dining car, right? Like they're eating,
Yeah.
I think, right? And all of a sudden, like they come across, like the conductor comes to him and was like, "Hey, you want to explain something to me?" And they go to the car where they've been, like their sleeper car, and it's like completely like just torn apart. Like somebody came in there and just ransacked it.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's not how we left it.
Because we actually see a Fury fly into the window, right? At some point.
Let me see if I can find something here. Plot synopsis, because I believe that's how. Well, we actually start out with like young Percy and the swimming lesson his mom is trying to teach him. And because she feels like he needs to learn how to swim because he might need it one day. And he's too scared to do that. And so he just and she's trying to get him to like let go of the side of the wall. You need to learn how to swim. He just tells her, just breathe, Mom, just breathe. And so she kind of just takes a step back and doesn't make him do it anymore. And then he has his little vision nightmare about the skeletal figure. And
which he's been having all season so far.
Yeah. And the figure warns him that being a forbidden child will lead to his destruction. And new danger is always coming for him. And so then they wake up and he's in the train, like I said, and they're, gonna head to Los Angeles via train. And that's when they come across the tattered room, and they question a lady that was in the cabin next to them. And she is telling him like, oh yeah, I heard sounds coming from that. I don't know. It doesn't say that a Fury was there.
That's okay.
But the lady in the next cabin over, they're questioning her, and she's like, oh yeah, I heard all these sounds coming from that cabin. They really did a number on that cabin. I don't know what was going on. But then as they're all sitting there, she's like, well, you know what? Stop. As the conductor's like continuously like trying to get stuff out of them. She's like, stop. You're making them nervous. Just go away, right? And
I'm a mother. I know how to speak to children.
Yeah, exactly. And so she's like, you didn't think I actually thought you guys tore up that cabin, right? Yeah. And so we find out she is another monster out to get them. She is actually the mother of all monsters. She is Echidna. And what I know of Echidna, you don't want to mess with Echidna. Everybody kills Echidna's kids, and she just gets mad.
Yeah, so all these monsters that we see in all these Hercules and Greek movies, and they're her children.
They are her children. She has the Chimera. She has the Hydra. Just everything under the sun is her child.
Yeah, and
if it's a monster, it's her kid.
And she's got a little dog suitcase with her. So.
Yeah, she says, oh, this one's not much more than a puppy. Yeah, some puppy. It's got tentacles and sharp knives coming out of it. It's not a nice puppy.
Nah, so we get this cool little chase in the train, which so far this is the shortest episode of the season at 33 minutes. So
yeah,
there's not a whole lot of going other than chasey action.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good. It's good action.
Yeah. But the main thing that you have to take away from here is that like we do go by there are other people on this train, mortals, and when they see the kids running by, they see They see them being chased by a little toy poodle. It's kind of really, really, or a little chihuahua. That's what it was.
Yeah.
They're being chased by a little chihuahua. It is kind of really funny. But he's actually like this, like tentacled, big, sharp, nasty monster. But the other thing to take away from it is that they are looking for refuge, and the St. Louis Arch that they're going off of, because they do get off the train, is a temple to Athena. And they go into this temple seeking refuge from Echidna, but they find out that Athena wasn't really happy with the Medusa head offering. So she let Echidna in to the temple because they thought that they were going to be safe. They thought, like, Echidna can't come in here. Athena will protect us. No,
they thought
Athena's
wrong.
Yeah, Athena's not going to protect you. She let Echidna in with her chimera, and it actually ends up poking Percy. I don't know where, but like he gets poked, and he actually gets poisoned. You could actually see on his face that he gets like very, very pale. And Annabeth was going to, she was fed up with her mom. Why, like, you didn't come to our aid. You let Echidna in here. She was fed up with it. So she was going to stay behind so that Percy could get to water and get healed. And so she was going to stay behind and fight Echidna. And he switched it around on her, and he stayed behind. But at the very last second, he kind of jumped out the window.
And it was funny them trying to heal him. They had him in a fountain.
Oh yeah, they were trying to splash him with water.
He's just like sitting in a puddle, like, this isn't working, guys.
Yeah.
Which it worked, but I mean, they didn't really.
I don't think he was submerged in enough water to actually work, because like it probably would have, but I think he was poisoned too deep to like just have like a little puddle help him out. I think he needed to be completely submerged in the water.
Yeah.
So he did fall out the window, and Echidna was like, cool, he's dead. Awesome. But because he's the son of Poseidon, he can breathe underwater. And he saw this like water nymph, I think they called her in the Screen Rant.
Yeah.
A water nymph. She said, your father's always been here. He's always been protecting you. The water will heal you. Continue on your quest, kind of thing. So
very cool scene.
It was cool. Yeah. Like I couldn't see what the siren or the water nymph looked like, but like we could hear her voice, and that was kind of really cool.
Yeah, from what we were able to see, very angelic underwater.
Yeah.
So no, that was really cool. And again, like what I was saying about the movie, that we kind of find out that Poseidon, has been watching, and he's not just like, just my bastard son.
I mean, we could kind of see that because, like, when he went to go get his revenge on the first bully, she got thrown into a fountain, and the water kind of helped him. So kind of felt like Poseidon had a presence there.
Yeah,
even from the beginning.
So, and that's that episode, which again.
That's like the shortest episode of all of them.
Yeah, and going back to IMDb, 7.5. So it's very consistent so far. One thing I forgot to mention, and I kind of totally forget, so I hope you remember, but in the previous episode, after they kill Medusa and they see the statues, they kind of all spill their guts on
Hold on one second.
Sure.
Dad, can you turn it down a little bit? We're almost done. Turn it down. I don't know. I don't know if you heard me. I have all these cords. All
right. But when they're in the basement, they kind of all spill their guts about, that he's like, well, I'm surprised you betrayed me, and I didn't think we're going to be friends. But they're like, but you did this, but they basically all came clean, and I forget
Well, that's
exactly
kind of
how
like
it
what
happened.
they were what I was kind of saying is like, well, this Fury told Annabeth like if she turned them in, like then they would be safe on their quest or whatever. If they turned Percy in, then Grover and Annabeth could go on their quest, whatever they were doing. Because I think Grover has another agenda that we don't quite know about just yet.
Yeah.
And then like the same thing with Medusa. She said to Percy, like, if you turn Annabeth and Grover over to her, then she'll help him save his mom. And then like, yeah, I didn't mention like, Percy confronted Annabeth on like, what did the Fury say to you, and she was like, well, da 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 da. And then he's like, well, what did you say to that? And she's like, well, I cut her head off. I stabbed her to death. And then same thing with Percy is like, well, what did Medusa say to you? And he said, well, if I turn you in, blah, blah, blah. And then, she's like, well, what did you say to that? And he's like, well, I cut her head off.
Yeah.
So.
So it was a good episode where they all kind of, I don't say came clean, but they all got on the same page for
Same
pretty much the
page, yeah,
first time.
basically, yeah.
But no, so that's the first 4 episodes.
Definitely. And I
So
think the
what's
first
your
4
takeaway so far?
I just think it's a very strong start. I like that. It's not really a slow burn, but it did take its time to get here. I feel like if it was a movie, it wouldn't have had the long drawn out like explanation of each thing. I think that maybe the whole school scene could have been a little shorter in the very, very beginning and get to it, but that it wasn't really about getting to it. That's what like the second episode was about, and that's why they dropped together. So I think it's really tight, and I think it's really well thought out, and that's why I most of the time I like when the actual author is
involved,
included. Yeah, and I know he was conferred with, but he wasn't really like in charge of, in the movie. Like he didn't want them to be 16 years old. And that's what they were. They were 16 years old in the movie. So he wanted them to be more middle school age because that's what they are in the books. So he's doing it his way. And I'm glad that Disney gave him the room for this.
Oh yeah, me too.
That, they give him more room to do it, with multiple seasons.
Yeah, and my I guess our mid season grade. I agree with these ratings, and I think it's solid. It's well paced. One thing I love about it being a TV show is you can have your 45 50-minute episodes, but at the same time have your 33-minute episodes, and that's with credits. So it's that's barely maybe a 25-minute episode, but it was well paced and everything. So I'm really enjoying the show.
It didn't need a whole lot, though. I mean, it was just to like, hey, this is the mother of all monsters. You pissed her off, and now she's coming after you. That's just who she is. So it just kind of depends on like who the monster is. Medusa was more seductive and slow in her dragging things out. So that's why it had a different feel with that monster. And I feel like each episode is we're encountering a new monster or a new god, and it's going to have a different feel for each one.
Yeah. So no, I'm really enjoying it so far. It's funny because we watch a lot of like the Star Wars content, and we don't get the titles until like after the episode. We got all the titles right now. I can either share them now or we'll wait till our next episode. But
let's wait.
Okay.
But I'm sure they're just as funny.
Okay. I'm only okay. I'm not gonna say it. The next 2 episodes. I just by the title, I really dig it. So, but no, I think I really hope. We know the track record on shows that we like on Disney Plus. They don't get time to cook.
No.
So and I don't mean cook. I don't think they give a lot of these shows time to like grab an audience. So Hopefully
Well,
this
yeah.
one does. So
I
because
mean,
it's really good.
I've always said that I would like to go back to letting seasons settle. I would like it to. I mean, I feel that's just me because most of the successful shows they don't find their footing until season 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And if you cut it off at season 1, you're never going to find that footing. And you just cut off all of the audience you might have had. You know, even if you didn't get that big share that first weekend, like it shouldn't matter. I know it does matter, but it shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I've heard writers say like series doesn't find their like footing until like 20 episodes in, and we don't even get that anymore. We get maybe 8 to 10 at max now, and I don't know if that's a product of society or because attention spans just aren't that focused anymore. I don't get what that is, but anytime you hear I watch I mean I listen to a lot of rewatch podcasts that have gone 7, 8, 10 seasons,
Yeah.
and they all say we didn't hit our stride until season 3 or 4.
Yeah.
All of them do. So I don't know why the big companies have strayed from that that model
Yeah.
anymore.
No.
Because
Yeah. We've been talking about that,
yeah,
for months.
for months. Yeah, and it just goes to show you that these shows just that have real potential just end up dying, and it's not fair.
And so
It's
many
not fair to the
shows.
fans.
Exactly. And so many shows come out and end with a cliffhanger or a build up to future seasons. And
Yeah,
we already know this is what, 5, 6 books?
6 or
I'm not
7, I
Yeah,
think.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So we know there's a whole lot of story left, but I'm really digging this season. I'm just I'm not I'm trying not to
I
get
mean,
attached because of what
I
happened to
know.
Willow and National
National
Treasure
Treasure.
and even the freaking Muppets. So
I know.
but
And the Muppets won an Emmy, guys.
yeah,
Muppets, they won a daytime children's Emmy, and Disney canceled it before the Emmys even happened.
yeah.
That's
So
what's happening.
and these are all solid shows too. So but I believe this one might be getting higher ratings on IMDb than even Willow and National Treasure.
Yeah.
I know people had their issues with that. That's a totally different show, but so far it's getting solid ratings, and I agree with it. So hopefully this keeps going. But I'm looking forward to the second half for sure.
Mm-hmm. And episode 5 drops on Disney Plus tomorrow, Tuesday, the 9th at 6 p.m. Disneyland time. So,
Yeah, happy 6th anniversary.
aww.
Yes, it is. So we will be doing our breakdown for the episodes 5 through 9 once 9 is done. So hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Are comment? You can even email us any questions on stuff you'd like us to talk about or see. You could go to elementsoffunyt@gmail.com, as you can see on the screen.
Yeah.
We got a lot of content coming up from our New Year's Vegas trip. So we're still trying to figure out if it's going to be one big lump video, or I think we've kind of decided on a couple separate videos.
I think we have a total of 3 videos that it could be. So
Yeah. And I'll tease it right now. So for our 13 subscribers at the time of this recording, thank you for subscribing.
yes, thank you.
Barely a week old, so we're excited about that. But one of those episodes will be from the immersive Disney animation show that was at the shops at the Crystal Shop.
Yeah, at the Aria. So it's like the Aria and then the Cosmopolitan. There's these crystal shops in the middle of it.
Yeah, where I felt very poor walking through.
I know. That really makes you feel out of place.
Yeah,
but
thank God CVS and Walgreens are across the street. No, this was done by the people that have done I forget the name of the company, but they did that Van Gogh.
It's the Lighthouse Immersive.
Yeah.
Lighthouse. Yeah, immersive.
Yeah, so we took between the two of us, we took many videos which don't do it justice. If you're in Vegas, go check it out. If especially if you're a Disney fan or just animation fan or just want to
It,
see an
it
awesome show.
it is in other parts of the country too, but the one
Yeah.
we went to is in Vegas. They were supposed to open one in Los Angeles, but for some reason that one got canceled. I had tickets to it through D23 when it was supposed to open, like over the summer.
Yeah.
And so that's when I was like, well, the closest one is Vegas, so we're going to Vegas.
Hey, that worked. And then the next video, this one might actually come out first. Haven't decided yet, but one of the I don't want to say surprises, but trying to word it right. I didn't really write it down, but yeah, I'll think of the term. But the Stranger Things experience.
Oh yeah, the Stranger Things experience.
It said it was a Stranger Things store or experience. I can't remember, but this
It
was
said the Stranger Things experience, and then when you went down, it was like a store, but it had like photo ops and stuff like
yeah.
that. And
This was huge. This was awesome. It was a
it
I
was
can't think
free.
of the yeah. It was free.
You're free.
Hidden gem. It was a hidden
Oh,
gem
hidden gem. Yes,
of the
hidden gem.
strip. So if you're a Stranger Things fan and you're down on the strip, definitely check it out. But yeah, we had a fun little video just kind of going through this and some photos. Then just kind of like a little random of the Kings tournament at Excalibur, the High Roller, some stuff in the Bellagio, their little Nutcracker.
Yeah, they still had the Nutcracker scene.
Yeah,
Up
a lot of
there.
these hotels are still Christmassy, which was awesome.
Yeah,
And
and also, chicken guy.
our pigeons of the chicken guy at Caesars. You'll have to
Yes.
wait for that one. So,
Yeah,
but if you're a Walt Disney World fan, you'll know. If you know, you know.
chicken guy.
And stick. I'll tease it with this. Stick to the one at Disney Springs. But I hope you enjoyed this show. Like I said, give us a comment and share with your friends. Be sure to subscribe to the show, and we'll have a proper sign off. But until next time, have a good evening or good morning or whenever you're watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.